We previously built a WhatsApp chatbot that responds to user queries using generative AI. It also has the capability to generate images from text. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can deploy a WhatsApp chatbot securely to a VPS. So first step, we're going to install Docploy, which is a free self-hostable alternative to platforms like Vercel, Heroku, and others. Copy the installation script. I'm going to open my terminal. I have a VPS that I bought from Netcap. I'm going to log on using SSH Netcap. And you might be wondering, why did I say SSH Netcap instead of SSH, the username at IP address? I configured an alias, get SSH config. So the host is Netcap, the alias, the host name is the IP address. Every time that I type SSH Netcap, that alias will resolve to this IP address. I'm going to paste the installation script for Docploy. The beauty about Docploy is you can host your web applications using Docker and Docker Compose. Installation is done. Let us copy this URL, then go to our browser and paste it. We do the initial setup, then register. And this is my Docploy panel. I'm just going to rename the organization here to Tifa. Update organization. You can invite other users into this organization. Let's say you're a team, you are collaborating on a project and you're all responsible for managing the application. We are not going to do that on this tutorial. I'm just going to show you how to set up the WhatsApp chatbot. So the first thing is we want to deploy our application using our GitHub code. The good thing is Docploy supports Git deployments. So all these providers from GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and Gitea are supported. Let us configure GitHub since our repository is on GitHub. Let's just call it Tifa. It doesn't have to match the organization name. You can use any. Create GitHub app, Docploy Artista. Our Docploy instance has been connected to GitHub. Let us click this icon so that we give Docploy the permissions to our repositories. You can grant it all repositories, but I'm going to be extra cautious and only select the appropriate repository, which is Artista WhatsApp Chatbot. Install and authorize. That is done. Our applications are organized as project when it comes to Docploy. Let us create a new project, Artista, give it a description, WhatsApp AI Chatbot. Let us go to our repository. As a refresher, we are using Redis to store the conversational context so that when the chatbot responds, the answers are cohesive. It doesn't lose track. The first thing we are going to do is to create our Redis database. Just call it Redis here. Description, you can leave it blank, but I'm going to highlight that it's for storing conversational context. Then instead of the default Redis 7, I'm going to use the latest version, which is Redis 8. Click Create. If you want to expose this Redis container for it to be accessible externally, we specify the port here, and I wouldn't recommend that you expose it. But for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to expose it a little bit so that I can show you how to connect to your Redis instance using Redis Insight, a free graphical user interface that is provided by Redis. Click Deploy, and deployment is done. Scroll down, copy the URL for external host. Let me open my Redis Insight. You can download it from the Redis website. Click on Add Redis Database, paste the connection string, test connection. The connection is successful. So let us add the database here. We have now successfully connected to our Redis instance that is hosted on our VPS. Let us go back and remove this to make sure that only systems that are on this server can access the Redis instance. We are going to configure our application such that instead of Upstash, it uses our local Redis. Copy the internal connection URL, go back to our project, create a service application. Now we are configuring the backend, which is the Nest.js repository that is on GitHub. Just call it Artista backend. Click Create. Go to our backend. Under GitHub, we select the GitHub account, the one we configured here, which is Docploy Artista. We only gave it permission to deploy the Artista WhatsApp chatbot, it will be the only one that will come up. But in the event that you gave it the permission to access all the repositories, you get a list of all your repos. Then you select the repository that you want to deploy. Select Artista WhatsApp chatbot. I'm going to use the main branch. Dogploy also has a feature where the moment that we push new code into that main branch, it will automatically rebuild the application. It's being specified by the trigger type here to say on push or when a tag is created. I'm going to leave it on push. We currently don't have a Docker file. We are going to use nixpecs to build the application. Before we deploy the application, we have to configure the environment, because if you still remember, we are using Redis for conversational context, OpenAI for conversational intelligence. Toggle the visibility of the environment variables by clicking the eye icon. Redis URL. We took this string from the internal connection URL from our Redis that is on this same server. Then we save. We also need to put the OpenAI API keys, the WhatsApp Cloud API. But for now, I'm not going to supply those environment variables so that I can later show you how you can later change those variables after a deployment. Let us save. Go to General. Click on Save. Make sure that you click Save, otherwise the deployment will fail. Click Deploy. Our deployment is running. Let us review. Our application has been deployed, but let us go on to the logs now. You'll see that Nest has started. The OpenAI API key environment variable is missing, so the application has failed. I'm going to open WebStorm, which is the IDE that I used to develop Artista, and copy the environment variables and paste them onto Dogploy so that the application becomes functional. So I'm going to remove the Redis URL from my code editor, because now we are using the one we just deployed. If you are using a temporary WhatsApp Cloud API access token, you also need to go to Facebook developer so that you get a new authentication token, since a temp one usually expires after about 24 hours. I'm going to click on Artista, then API setup. Select my Tifa Solutions number, generate access token, and reconnect. Copy the access token, go to our environment variable, and replace the WhatsApp Cloud API access token. In a previous video, I also showed how you can make use of a permanent token, so you can check it out here. Then we save. After that, we don't need to redeploy the application. You just click on reload. It will reload the application without rebuilding it. And after the reload, when you go to the logs, you will see that there are no complaints on the terminal. Our application is now running. The next step is to link this application to a domain, because as it stands, you won't be able to verify this webhook using the IP address here, because WhatsApp requires that you're connecting using a secure connection via TLS. If you submit this IP address, it's not going to work. So let me show you how you can start saving this WhatsApp chatbot through a legit domain. And for that, I'm going to use Cloudflare. Log in, and if you don't have an account, just create one. We're going to use the free version. We love cheap things. I have my domain, which is called ushinde.com, and I'm going to add this domain and point a subdomain to my IP address. Continue. We are going to make use of the free plan. So the way this setup works is the domain is going to be proxied through Cloudflare, meaning to say that instead of directly hitting your servers, you benefit from features like the web application firewall and DDoS protection that is offered even in the free plan of Cloudflare. And this is not to say that that's all the protection that you need. I've linked an article in the description box which shows you ways in which you can further harden your VPS server. Continue to activation. And since my register is Namecheap, the next step is going to Namecheap and pointing my domain to the Cloudflare name servers. It's Ushinde, manage. Under name servers, we are using custom DNS. Go back to our Cloudflare, copy the first name server, the second, click save, and click continue. It's going to take some time for the domain to propagate. There are various ways you can use to check whether propagation is done. Let us go to MX Toolbox. I want to do a DNS lookup. Click on DNS lookup, and as you can see, the propagation is done because our domain is now pointing to the Cloudflare IP addresses. Let us go to Cloudflare, reload. Our domain is now active. The last step, click on DNS, add a record and a record. We want to host the WhatsApp backend on a subdomain instead of the root domain. We just put Artista here. It's going to be proxied through Cloudflare, meaning to say when someone even does an NS lookup here, it's not going to directly link to our servers. It's going to point to the Cloudflare servers, giving us that security layer. Take our IP address. What we are just doing is saying, you know what? Artista.ushinde.com points to this IP address. Then we save. Let's say a request is made to artista.ushinde.com, which is our backend application. It will go to Cloudflare first, and Cloudflare will then forward that request to this IP address. We're going to remove all the initial configurations that came with the domain. Then we delete. We go back to our Dogploy application, and under domains for the backend, we click on add domain. The host name is artista.ushinde.com. And our application runs on port 3000 by default. It's a Nest.js application. We automatically provide an SSL certificate using Let's Encrypt. Then we create. When you click the domain, you'll see that we can now access the application on our subdomain. Let us go to Facebook for Developers platform so that we can configure our webhook. We take our subdomain, put it here. This is the URL where we are listening for incoming requests from WhatsApp. Let's say if someone contacts our bot, then this is the URL where everything gets sent to. So it's also the URL where the WhatsApp webhook verification is being done. Then we need to supply the WhatsApp webhook verification token, which helps WhatsApp authorize our server. We've already defined it as part of our environment file. We did a deep dive in the first video of this series, so check it out. Let's go to environment, copy Cloud API verification token, put it here. And when we click on verify and save, WhatsApp is going to send a request to our endpoint, which contains this verification token. The token that we put here is supposed to match with the token that we saved in our environment. Verify and save. And with our application can start receiving messages via WhatsApp. The moment of truth, we are going to test the WhatsApp chatbot to see if everything is working as expected. Hello, what is life? Tell me more about life. Nice. And it's responding, confirming that our application is now working properly. The last piece of the puzzle is our Dogploy admin portal is being accessed via an IP address. So let us also configure a subdomain that will point to our Dogploy instance. Under records, we're going to create an A record for portal.ushinde.com, then the IP address. Click save. Click on web server, portal.ushinde.com. We select Let's Encrypt as the certificate provider. Then we click save. And after that, if we copy the subdomain here, which is pointing to our admin portal for Dogploy, paste it here. We are now accessing our Dogploy using a proper domain. For security reasons, I would also advise you to enable two-factor authentication, which is another security layer. We have secured our domain with Cloudflare, which is like installing a high-tech front door, but here's the problem. Our Dogploy instance is still accessible directly through the server's IP address. That's like leaving the back window wide open. Or that front door security, which is like Cloudflare web application firewall and all the security measures, they're completely bypassed. To actually protect the backend, we need to lock down the direct IP access and route everything through the domain. Let us go back to our terminal and use IP tables to block external access to port 3000. And here's a component by component breakdown. Sudo is going to run the command with super user privileges, which is required for firewall changes. IP tables, it's a Linux utility for managing firewall rules. And the -i Docker user is just telling IP tables to insert a rule at the top of Docker user chain, which runs before Docker's own rules. So what this does is we're just inserting a rule at the top of Docker's firewall chain. It prevents external IP access, but still allows traffic via Docker's internal network, meaning to say external visitors trying to access using the IP will get nothing. press enter. To make this rule persistent, we install iptables persistent such that even when we reboot the VPS, the rules will still apply. Select yes, then we save. After that, even when we reboot the virtual machine, the block will remain. So to verify that our rule is now in place, let us try to access directly using the server's IP. You see that it continuously loads until a point where the page will just fail. But if we use the domain now, we can access the application. And to verify that the rule is persistent, I'm going to reboot the server. Dogploy is still starting, so let me just wait a bit. It's now available. Let us now try to access using the IP. As you can see, you can no longer directly access the server using the IP address, and the firewall block that we implemented using iptables is persistent. Our application is now more secure. I'm going to put all these scripts in the description box. Just test the application one more time to see if everything is working. Hello, boss. The bot is responding, and I'm going to use the imagine action word, which is a trigger for generating images, and say birds in a garden. And there you have it, some art generated from our text prompt. Imagine confused adult, and looking good. Make sure that you like and subscribe, because in future videos we're going to explore how we can even host our own models using Dogploy and connect it to our WhatsApp chatbot. Thanks for watching.